And good morning. Welcome to another edition of Telling It Like It Is. My name is Ralph Williams, and coming up here in the from the waiting room is Leo Haggerty. Leo, welcome to the program. Good morning to you, and Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and all that other stuff.
Yeah, Merry Christmas and an early Happy New Year to you too, Ralph. Steelers played well the other night, didn't they?
Yeah, they played well. They beat the Bengals, and we're going to see what they do Sunday against Seattle. Seattle is I talked to a buddy of mine out there, Vinny Riccici, and he told me that Seattle is a undisciplined football team. So let's see what happens. We'll see what they do there.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. But I'll tell you what, that's a tough place to win because
it is tough.
Loud, really loud.
Yeah, for some strange reason, we have problems winning there. I know we've beaten Seattle at home. I used to work at Heinz Field back in early days, and they won there. A couple of times I worked there, they beat Seattle. So, but anyway, before we get started here, I got something for you, like we always do every morning here, every Saturday morning. Here we are. Let's see. There it goes. Oh, yeah.
I have to get my Knights of Columbus sword out and hold it up,
There you go, Leo. All right. Let's get started here. Some bowl games today. Some really good ones, actually. I like the Ole Miss Penn State game coming up at noon. And then later on, we have a few other bowl games. What's your thoughts on the games so far? Some of the wins and victories and losses. I didn't expect Louisville to lose, but they did. What are your thoughts on these bowl games?
Well, Ralph, it's such a crapshoot now because you got kids opting out, and rightfully so. They gave their 4, 5, 6, some 7 years to college, and you know what? If they got a pro career, if they're going to be a high draft pick, why take that chance? And I'll tell you what, who I'm really afraid of is Michael Penix. I'm amazed that he's still playing because he's had 2 knee surgeries, and everybody says, well, they're playing for the national championship. Yeah, well, he's playing for a career. And people need to start realizing that this is becoming a business. In fact, yesterday, one of the questions of Luke Fickell and Brian Kelly was the NIL and the portal.
Right.
And they said the biggest problem is there's no rules. Every coach has no problem with name, image, and likeness. The problem is now agents are involved, now outside forces are involved. And Brian Kelly hit the nail on the head. He said it's become play for pay. And that's the problem. So, again, am I surprised by some of these schools?
Leo, your voice is gone. I don't know what happened here. I can't hear you. I have it up on my end. Hold on, man. Let's see if we can get Leo back up here. Okay, Leo, try again because you have no voice. Okay, I can hear you now.
Okay, yeah. The biggest thing is that there's got to be some rules, Ralph.
Absolutely.
There's just nothing at all, and that's sad.
No, none at all, none whatsoever, and it's terrible, and I don't like it. And we talked about that last week. Let's get into some of the bowl games that happened last Saturday. Duke beat Troy 17-10. That was a decent game, despite the fact he had 2 interim coaches. And then Georgia State, Utah State. Georgia State won 45-22. James Madison lost to Air Force 31-21. And, of course, they had an interim coach because Kurt Signetti left for Indiana. The Lending Tree Bowl, South Alabama 59, Eastern Michigan 10. Northwestern, Utah game, 14-7, Northwestern beat Utah. I'm surprised at that score, Leo, because Utah I thought was a better team, and Northwestern I'm surprised. I'm really surprised at them. They have Skip Holtz as an assistant coach there, trying to help out the interim coach who's there for Pat Fitzgerald, because he got removed.
Yeah.
Uh, and my team, Coastal Carolina, I like them 24-14 over San Jose State in the Hawaii Bowl. Tuesday, we had the Quick Lane Bowl. Minnesota beat Bowling Green. And then the First Response Bowl on Tuesday was Rice losing to Texas State 45-21. Kansas 49, UNLV 36. That was a great game, great high scoring bowl game. Brendan Marin was the offensive coordinator at UNLV, former tight ends or receivers coach here at Pitt. He was supposed to be pushed up to offensive coordinator. Pat Narduzzi screwed him over and brought in Frank Signetti, and that didn't work out, as you see. Let's see here. The Military Bowl was on Wednesday. It was Virginia Tech beating Tulane. I was shocked at that one because Tulane has a really good football team. West Virginia beat North Carolina 30-10. Well, of course, North Carolina didn't have their quarterback. Louisville lost to USC 42-28. I was shocked at that score. Oklahoma State beat Texas A&M 31-23. A&M has a new coach, but he's not inserted yet. Let's see here. Thursday, Boston College beat SMU 23-14. I was kind of surprised at that one. Miami loses to Rutgers there, Leo. I was getting ready to ask you your opinion on that game, the Pinstripe Bowl. What's going on with Mario Cristobal down there in Miami?
Well, the first thing is you had Miami kids trying to play in New York in the rain and the cold. That's and Rutgers said, "Hey, guess what, guys? This is what you got to look forward to next year if you get into the playoffs. Because if I'm 5, 6, 7, or 8, you're coming north." And you could see those Miami kids were frigid up at the Pinstripe Bowl, and that's a big advantage for these northern teams now. All these southern teams, they would get the northern teams down here in the winter, and the weather was an issue. Well, guess what? It's going to be an issue next year, which is going to be fun to watch.
Let's see. I saw some of this Notre Dame Oregon State game, the Sun Bowl, which was yesterday. Notre Dame 40, Oregon State 8. Clemson beat Kentucky by 3 points. That was an exciting game down to the wire. And then Memphis beat Iowa State 36-26. And today, final yesterday, last night as well, Ohio State losing to Missouri 14-3. How does Ohio State lose to Missouri 14-3 and not only score 3 points?
Well, their quarterback went down like the third play of the game. So
wow.
yeah, it was a shame because I think the Ohio State quarterback went into the portal, the starter, and this guy was the backup. He lasted 3 plays, and then they had the third teamer in, and they couldn't move the ball at all.
No, and then today at noon, you have the Peach Bowl, Ole Miss versus Penn State. I like this game. What do you think about this game?
I like Penn State. I think this is going to be a very interesting football game because, you got Lane Kiffin that wants to score points galore, and they got Franklin, who, likes to keep it close to the vest, run the football. So we're going to see what happens because usually when it's an SEC Big Ten game, it's the SEC speed versus the Big Ten power. And it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, Manny Diaz, the defensive coordinator for Penn State, left for Duke. So he's not going to be part of this game. So we'll see where Penn State's defense goes there. Auburn in the Music City Bowl versus Maryland. That could be a decent game. Maryland's about an average team, and Auburn, they've finally creeping into some bowl games here a little bit. They were down in the dumps for a little while there. Orange Bowl, Florida versus Florida State. That game's going to be the best one of the day. What do you think?
Oh yeah, Florida State and
Florida
and
State.
Georgia. Yeah, Florida State and Georgia. Yeah. The funny thing is, Georgia's a 20-point favorite now. I'm going. Wait.
No.
I want to see Georgia score points on Florida State. Yeah, a lot of those guys are not playing. which
Right.
is the hardest thing. But Florida State's got a little bit of chip on their shoulder after what the NCAA did to them. That's for
Well,
sure.
I think Mike Norvell's going to have them pumped up Florida State, so I just see them taking Georgia, and then the Arizona Bowl at 4:30, Toledo versus Wyoming. Wyoming's not a bad team, neither is Toledo. So and then on New Year's Day, Wisconsin versus LSU, Liberty versus Oregon. Wow, Liberty in a big time bowl game. They're in the Fiesta Bowl, playing Oregon, Iowa, Tennessee, and Michigan, of course, versus Alabama, and Texas and Washington. Where do you think some of these bowl games go, Leo?
Well, let's work backwards. I got Washington and Texas. I'll tell you what, don't go for a soda and a hamburger because you may miss 14 points. There's going to be a
Right.
lot of points scored there.
Okay.
Washington throws it all over the lot, and give Steve Sarkisian credit down at Texas. After last year, he figured out what he needed to do. He needed to get bigger and stronger on the offensive and defensive lines, and that's what he did. In fact, Texas went into Tuscaloosa when they beat Alabama. Not too many people can say this, but they manhandled the Crimson Tide. They went in there and won both sides of the line of scrimmage. And that takes me to my next game, Michigan, Alabama. If Michigan follows their script, which is run the football, this will not even be a game. It'll be like 27-10, 27-13 Michigan. The best thing Alabama could hope for is that Michigan thinks they can throw the football, because the Achilles heel of Alabama is if somebody runs the football at them. And hopefully Michigan will figure that out early. Alabama needs to get the lead. They need to get the lead early if they have any chance of winning. If they get behind and Milroe has to throw the football, not their modus operandi. They want to run it. They want to have Milroe run play action passes. But I think
Right. Yeah.
I think Michigan wins that one. We got to go in here in the ReliaQuest Bowl, which I'll be at. And Ralph, if you're watching the game, look for that powder blue sweater under the south goalpost the last 6 minutes. That's
All right. I'll
my
check that out.
tradition. I'll be
Oh,
there.
yeah.
But when you look at what's going on there with LSU, you got to feel sorry for them, because they may have the best player in the country in Jaden Daniels. I mean, the most exciting player, and he's not going to play. And I don't blame him. And the NCAA needs to come up with something. You got the money there, guys.
Right.
Put an insurance policy on these guys, so it's a game. Because the LSU's got players all over the place, but they don't have a
Right.
quarterback. Now they got a guy who hadn't taken a snap, so it's going to be.
Right.
He's going to start his first game of the year, and Wisconsin's going to get Sam Mordecai back under center. He got banged up a little bit during the season, so I don't think this is a 10-point game. I think it's close, and if Wisconsin can put pressure on, the ReliaQuest Bowl, when it was the Outback Bowl, now is the
Yeah.
ReliaQuest Bowl. It's always come down to the last team with the football. I think that's what'll happen, and
Well,
I got a feeling it's going to be
yeah,
Wisconsin.
it's going to be a dogfight. That's
Yeah.
what's going to happen
And,
there.
and,
Yeah.
and you know what? When it's a dogfight, you take the team with the biggest dogs.
That's right.
That's
exactly it.
Wisconsin.
And Wisconsin always loves to run the football. That's been their
Oh.
demeanor for many years. And, so, all right. This segment was brought to you by Mata Heating and Air Conditioning, 724-201-0500, MataHeatingandAirConditioning.com, or Mata Heating and Air Conditioning on Facebook. Get a hold of them. Furnaces, radiant floors, humidifiers, service contracts, heat pumps. Wow, we need that for the winter. Snow melt for the winter. Also, air cleaners and UV lighting. Give them a call. Ask for Bill, 724-201-0500. You ought to call Mata. Also, this segment was also brought to you by P6 Auto Detailing in New Kensington. Call today, 412-965-6578. Let the experience of P6 Auto Detailing detail your car the way it should be. All right, P6 Auto Detailing. Leo, we're going to go into the NFL now. One game today. The Lions, as I always say, the Lions versus the Cry Boys. What do you think?
Boy, I'll tell you what, Dallas has to win this game. They have to, because if they don't, they're going to end up coming to Tampa. The funny thing is that may not be a bad move, because the Cowboys came in here last year in the playoff and just beat the Bucks up.
Oh yeah.
I told Peter Blake, I said, Peter, I'd rather see the Eagles come in here than the Cowboys because
The
that's
Eagles are struggling right now. They're terrible. They're not doing real well, and they got
well,
some injuries. You know.
they're so banged up in the secondary and at linebacker. I mean, they got Leonard, who they just signed off the scrap heap after he got cut by Indianapolis, and he had to start last week. So yeah, it's you remember the line in Major League when the guy walks in and he goes, "Who's this effing guy?" Well, that's about what it is with the Eagles.
Hey,
You know,
we got Jalen Smith today. I mean, we got him playing. We just
yeah.
picked him up off the scrap heap. So I mean, you know,
It,
and
it, the NFL needs to expand the rosters. If they're going to play 17 games, and you know it's coming to 18 shortly, they got to expand the roster. 53 guys, you're running out of bodies. So, uh,
yeah,
uh,
they have to do that. And then one other thing too, this Pro Bowl's a joke. I
oh
can't
yeah,
stand
you
the
can't.
Pro Bowl
Yeah,
thing. It's
they, they,
terrible.
they, they need to bury it. It's and again, if I'm making millions of dollars playing, and then all of a sudden I come
Right.
out here and I'm making walking around change, and I can get hurt. I can remember the running back from Georgia when they had that goofy touch football game on the beach, and he blew his knee out. I go,
Yeah.
oh, I think his name was Edwards, but
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, he and all of a sudden, boom, that's it. You can't ask these guys to do that. You watch the NBA. I mean, they don't cover anybody in an All-Star game. It's
Yeah.
running up and down the floor. The NHL, that nobody's checked. And again, I get it. There's just too much money at stake for this to happen. So it's time for the All-Star weekends to be like skills competition, and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
crazy.
So you like the skills competition better than you like the games?
Well, they're really in the game.
Well,
It's
yeah, I know that, but what I'm saying, yeah, I know.
yeah,
So to not to waste time on watching a game where they can't hit or they can't,
yeah,
do anything. The only real good one is Major League Baseball. That's about the only good All-Star game. I
yeah,
mean,
yeah. That's because your
so
chances of getting
real
hurt
good
are
play.
not as high as in
Right,
hockey,
right,
basketball, or football. Yeah.
exactly. All right, this little segment here about the Pro Bowl was brought to you by Sleep Pittsburgh. Call Sleep Pittsburgh today. That number is 412-462-7858, 8th Avenue, Homestead. Give them a call or visit sleeppittsburgh.com for the best sleep tonight. They also have no credit check financing. So get the best sleep, Sleep Pittsburgh. Excuse me, for the best sleep tonight. All right. We have tomorrow, we have the Titans and the Texans once again. That's going to be a dogfight. That always is between them two, because of the former Houston Oilers who went to Tennessee, and then the Texans are playing them. That's again tomorrow. The Falcons and the Bears. This is going to be an interesting one here. You got two coaches trying to save their jobs. Arthur Smith's on eggshells, and Matt Everfart is on eggshells. What do you think about this game?
Well, you know what? You're taking an indoor team in Atlanta. You're going to play them outdoors in Chicago, and it is windy, it is cold, and it's
Oh,
probably going to be wet. So yeah, it not a good recipe for the Falcons winning, and they've got to win. They got to win, and they got to get some help from the Saints. So we're going to see what happens with Atlanta because they fall completely out of it if they lose. I'll tell you what, though, that's a tall order to go into Soldier Field and try to win against the Elements and the Bears.
Okay, AFC North. The Browns beat the Jets the other night, 37-20. Browns are for real here, Leo. I thought they were a joke at the beginning of the year because I've always picked on the Browns, but now the Browns are no joke. 37-20. They beat the Jets. What do you think, Deshaun Watson? What happens with him? You think he's going to go bye-byes?
No, he'll be there. And give Joe Flacco some credit. I mean, I was looking at the stats. He had almost 300 yards at halftime,
Yeah,
16 completions,
exactly.
and like 296. I'm going, wow, did the Jets just forget to show up? And that's just crazy. But yeah, Flacco has resurrected his career this year, and I'll tell you what, it's amazing to see how they're on their third or fourth quarterback with Flacco, and they
Yeah.
still won 10
Yeah,
games.
they had that. What was his name? PJ or something. I forget the one guy they had, and then They had Josh Dobbs there for a little while, and then they moved him out to Minnesota. Or he went to Minnesota, and he's on the bench there, or he has to come out and play now because they just benched Nick Mullins. So I mean,
Well, supposedly they're going to start a third teamer out in Minnesota. I mean, this is nuts. And again,
oh, these quarterbacks around the league here,
yeah,
Leo. It's terrible this year. I mean, you got all these backups. You got guys that were bagging groceries, cleaning toilets, or whatever they were doing,
mhm.
and now they're playing quarterback here, and this is amazing.
Yeah,
All right.
that's what I was talking about with the Eagles and that. You're
Oh, the
seeing that
Eagles, yeah.
you're just seeing not backups, but you're seeing backups to backups. You're seeing guys who shouldn't even be playing, but they have to because you know what? We don't have anybody else. And
You
we
know,
had, we had a situation down here in Tampa 2 weeks ago where the Bucks had to play dime 6 defensive backs on the goal line because they had no linebackers left. They had a safety playing linebacker. And the fact that
I guess Savossier Dennis is finally playing, right?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's my man.
unbelievable what's
And
going on
Kansas
down here.
playing well too, I heard. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's great. I'm glad to hear that them guys are succeeding down there because Izzy Abanikanda, he hasn't played up at the Jets very rare, and I'm kind of frustrated with that with Salah. I thought Salah was going to get fired, but I guess he's going to be on for another year or two. I guess I don't know. We'll
Well,
see what.
once he lost Aaron Rodgers, that was his meal ticket to stay because
Yeah,
now he's playing with somebody he didn't plan on having. So yeah.
right, right. All right, Dolphins Ravens. This game here is going to be real interesting. Dolphins have to win. Ravens they clinched a playoff spot, but they can win the division if they win against the Dolphins. I think they're going to beat the Dolphins. I don't see the Dolphins beating the Ravens at home. What do you think?
No, that's again. You got the
I hate
warm
to
weather
say
team
that.
coming
I
in.
hate the Ravens with a passion, but you know what? I have to take them in this game. I mean, I'm not a betting man, so I don't. You know what I mean? But what I'm saying is, as far as the Ravens go, I think they're pumped up, ready to go. Saints and the Bucks. What
Well,
do you think here? This is going to be a
well,
dog fight here.
yeah. Here's the thing, Ralph, and I'm not going to predict the score, but I'm going to predict something people to watch.
Okay.
Watch the touches that Alvin Kamara gets. If he gets 25 or more, Saints wins. If he gets 24 or less, Saints lose. They have got to feed number 41 because what that does, it moves the chains and it keeps the Bucks offense off the field because all of a sudden, Mike Evans and Chris Godwin,
That's
they
right.
are lighting it up
Yeah,
because
all of a sudden they came around. It seems like, and Baker Mayfield's doing a pretty decent job down there, from
yeah,
what I understand.
what's come around, Ralph, is their offensive line. And again,
Yes.
when I when
Yes.
I when I first started scouting way back in the 1970s, I was tutored by some really good people, and they said, "Look, if you see a team go from one year to the next, and all of a sudden they got a new offensive lineman in a spot or somebody playing in a different spot, it's going to take 2 games for them to get cohesive, to them to get comfortable." The Bucks had 5 guys. All 5 offensive linemen were new or in a different spot. Yeah, Hainsey had played, but they were going on Jensen, and then Jensen got hurt. So guess what? Do the math, folks. 5 times 2, that's 10 games. Come game 11, that Bucks offensive line has just gelled. They've opened holes. The running game has become efficient, and the big thing is they're protecting Baker.
Okay, Bills and the Patriots. Bills have to win this game. I don't see the Patriots winning this. They're down in a hole. Bill Belichick's about to step down, I think. What do you think?
Oh, Bills, yeah, just all of a sudden, Josh Allen, somebody lit a fire under him. I don't know what somebody said or what somebody did, but
Or
he
maybe
is,
the new offensive coordinator there. What's his
yeah,
name? Joe. I can't remember his last name,
yeah,
but yeah,
he's
he's
playing at an MVP level right now, and what people don't want to have is the Bills playing really well in December and January because that means it's playoff time.
okay. Here we go. Cardinals Eagles. I see the Eagles winning this game by a long shot. Cardinals are not a good football team at all.
Well, you know what, Ralph? Weather is going to be an issue in Philly. It's going to be an issue all throughout the Northeast this weekend. So yeah,
Yes.
it's the Eagles should win, but let's see what happens with Dallas because if Dallas loses to Detroit, maybe the Eagles get in, and that clinches the division, and they can rest people. So you got to take that into consideration because they're banged up in some places. So and again, let's go back to the Bucks. If the Bucks beat the Saints, they clinch the division. So next week becomes a bye for them. So
Right.
you can go to a player, and I advocate this wholeheartedly. You ask the player, how much do you want to play? Do you
Right.
need the whole game off? Do you need a quarter? Do you need a half? What do you need? Do you want to play the whole game? Let me know, and then we'll figure out from there. So yeah, uh, if you got to play that first week of the playoffs, and right now it looks like the 49ers and the Ravens are going to get that bye, but that could change in the next 2 weeks. But then you got to figure out how to rest your guys, and that's going to be interesting, especially with the Eagles and
Well, I
the
don't think the
Cardinals.
Ravens are going to rest their guys because I think John Harbaugh wants to beat the Steelers. He has a bad record against the Steelers, and I think he'll do anything to beat the Steelers. Which means if he has to play his regulars, he will. But he may only play them maybe a quarter, and that's about it. Maybe I think.
Yeah.
Uh, you
Well,
know,
he'll
yeah,
probably ask them, "How long do you need?"
yeah,
And it may even
exactly.
be one series, and that'll be it.
Right.
So we'll see what happens. That's the good part.
All right, Panthers Jaguars. What a game is! Jaguars should blow them out. That game should,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, yeah. That won't be
Well,
much of a game. I
the
don't think.
fans sent a message. They didn't show up at the game for the Carolina Panthers. They sent the team a message. I love that. That was funny. I never seen anything like that before.
Uh,
So, But anyway, the Colts and the Raiders. This is going to be an interesting game. Raiders have been playing pretty good under that new interim coach, and the Colts with Shane Steichen haven't been doing too bad. Gardner Minshew's resurrected his career. What do you think
yeah, I think, and the Colts are still
in the
in the
hunt?
hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if the Jaguars lose and Houston loses, all of a sudden Indy's going to be right near the top. So yeah, I think the Colts come out with a win here.
All right, the Rams and the Giants. I see the Rams winning this. The Giants have the fumbler, Gunnar Olszewski, who used to play for the Steelers, and he fumbles the ball a lot when he tries to do a kick return or a punt return, and that's why the Giants lost their last game because he fumbled the football. So I think the Rams are going to win this game. The Giants aren't doing too good this year. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, the Giants are down to their what 10th quarterback now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
I, I,
they overpaid for Daniel Jones, I think. And
mm,
so there we are. 49ers and Commanders. You see Ron
next
Rivera trying
game,
to save his job.
next game,
Next game, yeah.
49ers.
Steelers Seahawks.
Ralph, I know this is gonna make you angry, but I don't see
It's
Pittsburgh
not
winning this one.
it's not
I
gonna
just
make
don't.
me angry. I don't want the Steelers to win because I want Mike Tomlin to have his first losing season. That's what I want. You know? Yeah, I'm serious. I mean, I can't stand the guy. He's ignorant. I just, I'm not going to go there with him right now. We don't have enough time anyway.
Right.
The Bengals and the Chiefs. This ought to be a good game right here. I'd like
Yeah,
to see.
because the Chiefs may end up having to play that first week of the playoffs. So yeah, things aren't going real well in Kansas City.
Right.
I tell you what, and Cincinnati's got to win. Cincinnati loses, I don't think they got a shot. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And again, you got no Joe Burrow, so I'm gonna have to go with
Yeah,
Mahomes and the Chiefs.
the Bengals and the Browns are like neck and neck, and the Ravens. There could be three teams in the AFC North in the playoffs.
Yeah,
Might even be four if the Steelers get lucky, but I don't think they're going to be that lucky.
no,
Chargers and Broncos. Yeah, I don't know about
yeah,
this.
it's probably the Broncos because
Yeah,
they still got an outside shot. The
yeah, and the
Chargers are in
Chargers are done.
disarray.
Yeah,
They're,
Brandon Staley's been fired. I mean, so we'll see
yeah.
where that goes. Who do you think would be their coach next year, just for what's in giggles?
Well, they're gonna go offense because they went defense with Staley and that didn't
Tell
work out. So
promoted.
they're going to have to come up with some offensive guy, especially when you got Justin Herbert.
Right.
And I think the offensive coordinator was out there would have been the guy to go to, but I think they're going to clean house and just
Okay.
go to everybody. If he'd have sat for one more year in Dallas, that may have been his job.
Here's two teams. This is going to be a big time dogfight and a big rivalry: Packers and Vikings.
Yeah, Yeah, and there's two teams again. Both of them they're still in the playoff hunt, and it's indoors. Funny thing with this rivalry lately, Ralph, is the visiting teams usually winning, and that's kind of strange. But Green Bay gets to go indoors, and the Vikings don't have a quarterback. They're going with some rookie guy that they just signed, whatever, and I. I don't see that being a good thing. So I like the Packers, even though it's in Minnesota.
All right, this segment brought to you by draft412.com. Get a hold of draft412.com. Check out their information on all different types of drafts. They also have an e-magazine, $9 a month. They'll put it right in your inbox, give you all the details on and the skinny on all kinds of athletes. Draft412.com. They also have some podcasts as well. Okay, Leo, your final thoughts as we wrap this up today. And we're in the First Line Consulting Services Studios, 1-877-926-6982. Give them a call if you need a website. They'll build it, construct it, they'll manage it, and they'll also upload all your videos. One low monthly price. They also have business pricing as well. Give them a call, 1-877-926-6982, First Line Consulting Services. Okay, Leo, your final thoughts.
Well, I'll tell you what, two things. If you're a college football nut, what a great weekend. You've got games Saturday, Sunday. You got games all over the place, which is great. You've got the two national championship games on Monday, New Year's Day. That'll be great. And you got the NFL, and it's meaningful games all over the place. One thing, I want you to check this out because I've always felt that week 17, the week before the last week of the season, you're going to find about 10, 11, maybe 12 of the 16 games are going to go under.
Yes.
They're going to be played close to the vest. They're going to be played. Kicking becomes important. Field position becomes important. I'm going to come on next week and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to look at all the unders and see what it was, because in the last 3, 4, 5 years, I've always said it's been double digits. It's been 10, 11, or 12 games that haven't got over. So that'll be fun to watch. Ralph, Happy New Year. Always
Same
a pleasure working with you. Take care,
buddy.
buddy.
Always a pleasure. Next week, and we'll talk some more. NFL. Leo Haggerty, who had to head off because he has work to do, right here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. I am Ralph Williams, and Leo Haggerty was just joining me. We're getting ready to wrap up telling it like it is here. I have some announcements and some got to pay a few bills. Fold and Travel Mobility. Are you handicapped, disabled? Do you use a wheelchair? Have you felt down because you need a power chair that folds up so life can be a whole lot easier for you? Well, you know what? I have the solution to your problem. Fold and Travel Mobility, the specialist at having the best folding power wheelchairs. Call the professionals today at Fold and Travel Mobility, 1-877-GOT-FOLD. That's 1-877-GOT-FOLD. Fold and Travel Mobility. They also have financing available, and the experts will help you get into a great folding power wheelchair. I have one, and it's making my life a whole lot easier right now. So I want you to have one. So give them a call today, 1-877-GOT-FOLD, or get on foldandtravelmobility.com. All right, I want to talk to you today about Hillcrest Farm, Richmond, Ohio. Hillcrest Farm is a hay grain beef farm that produces some great beef. They have some great package deals, a variety box for $195. You get 4 pounds of burgers, 10 pounds of ground meat. You get two packs of filet mignon, 2 roasts, and 10 steaks, and that is all for $195. Then the roast box, $200, 7 roasts, 30 pounds of ground beef. The ground beef box, my favorite, $95, 20 pounds of ground beef. Give them a call today. Their number, 740-346-5442 or 740-632-2894. Email them at hillcrestfarmsohio@gmail.com for directions. And also check out their website, www.hillcrestfarmsohio.com. And on Facebook, Hillcrest Farm. They also deliver, so make sure you get on their website, hillcrestfarmsohio.com. Hillcrest Farm, Richmond, Ohio, 45 minutes from downtown Pittsburgh. No excuse to head out there right up the hill from Steubenville, Ohio. Head on out and visit Caitlin and Taylor out there. Tell them you heard it here on RW Media Productions, telling it like it is. Every Saturday morning here at 10:30 a.m., it's telling it like it is with me and Leo Haggerty. And then also, don't forget, uh, tomorrow after the Steeler game, it's the post-game show. Myself, Steve Spates, and Bubba Brewer will be part of the broadcast tomorrow on the post-game show 20 minutes after the end of the Steeler game. So whenever that happens, that is when we will be on air here on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms. Monday on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter X platforms, the way we see it with me and myself, Ralph Williams, Bill Canada, and we are going to talk. We have a 2-hour special. We're starting at 6 p.m. on Monday, New Year's Day, big New Year's Day show, 2 hours long because we weren't on last week because of Christmas. So we're on New Year's Day. And then don't forget Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m., Beaver County Radio, 99.3 FM, 1230 a.m., and also on, we're going to be live on Beaver County Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and live on their website, also live on their phone app, and also on www.rwmedia.org. Check out my website as well. What you do is you go on there, you'll see the Beaver County Radio, what you call banner there, push live, and you can come right on to the show. The Year in Sports Review, spectacular. And guess what? We have a great guest lineup for you. Luther Dupree and Claudia Rosano, both from Steel City Sports World and the Boxing Authorities. Also, my co-host Smoking Jim Frazier is part of that as well, part of both shows. And then Brian Pasquale, formerly of the from the former show on Beaver County Radio called Hey Peanuts. He now will have a show Wednesdays, every Wednesday starting January 3rd, 5 to 6 p.m. It's called One Man's Opinion. All right, so Brian Pasquale will be joining us. JT Toth from Draft 412 at 5 o'clock. And then right after JT, we have Artie Source, and then cleaning up the day of the show, Keith Engel. Artie Source is from Galaxy Sports, one of our national sponsors. And then also we have Keith Engel coming on from TGI Sports, another one of our sponsors. So I'm telling you, it's going to be a great Year in Sports Review spectacular. And your phone call 724-843-1888. So make sure you put that down. Call your friend, call your cousin, call somebody, get them listening to Beaver County Radio and the Year in Sports Review spectacular. And we go 2 hours, Smoking Jim and I, starting on Tuesday, 4 to 6 p.m. all the way throughout. And then Wednesday, we're back with Wrestle Talk, but it's just going to be Wrestle Talk, myself, Ralph Williams, Bubba Brewer, Smoking Jim Frazier. We talk WWE, AEW, and a whole lot more. New phone number 563-999-3740 on Block Talk Radio. We will be there Wednesday at 7 p.m. Then Friday at 10:30 a.m. is the External Bum podcast. It's going to be myself, Ralph Williams, JT Toth, Scott Morganroth. It's going to be a great show. 563-999-3740 is the number to call. The new number for the new Block Talk Radio and the new External Bum podcast, Wrestle Talk as well. And don't forget my show, Ralph's Opinion. I'm back on Monday at 11:30 a.m. Ralph's Opinion, and we're back. We took the whole week off this week, but we're back, and we got a lot to talk about on Ralph's Opinion. So don't forget that. That's going to be on Block Talk Radio, 563-999-3740. And anytime Block Talk Radio has tech issues, we move to our social media platforms. So just to let you know that as well. All right, Bon Journey, the Bon Jovi Journey tribute band, they will be performing this Sunday at the Winooski Winery. I have to say this, you better get your tickets, and fast, because everything's running out. They're down to about 12 general admission tickets. My advice to you is to get that Bon Journey, the Winooski Winery, Sunday for New Year's Eve. Big party, only 12 tickets left. You better hurry up and get them if you want to see Bon Journey at the Winooski Winery in Bell Vernon. Are you a business that is struggling? Are you a business that, does okay? Are you a business that does good? Are you afraid that you will have to take a loan out for advertising and sponsorship? No, you do not. I have the solution for you. RW Media Production, radio, the Beaver County Radio, 4 podcasts, 3 national shows, and a whole lot more, and a website advertising, all for one price. 412-545-4317. If you're a business that needs some help, instead of spending thousands of dollars, you'll spend little than not even $1,000 on some great advertising with RW Media Productions. All right. Do you need a DJ for a party? Call DJ Fun today. That number's 412-990-8448. Give DJ Fun a call. Do you have a party or a special event that you need DJ'd? And DJ Fun will do it for you. He's been doing it for 15 years. DJ Fun, one of the best DJs in Western Pennsylvania. 412-990-8448. Call DJ Fun today. All right. This has been another edition of Telling It Like It Is. I'm Ralph Williams. I want to thank Leo Haggerty, as always, for being part of the show. And I want to thank you for watching. And don't forget, next week we'll be back here at 10:30 a.m. for another edition of Telling It Like It Is. Have yourself a great new year. Happy New Year to you, and we'll see you next year.